box. I'm about to light the fuse. I just need me a cup. I'ma pour me the juice. I got the juice now. I got the juice now. I got the juice now. I got the juice. I got the juice now. I got the juice now. I got the juice now. I got the juice. Hello.
Hi guys, it's me Shelby Lee and welcome back to another episode of Tea Tuesdays. Today we are drinking an iced tea despite the fact that it is extremely cold outside. We are drinking Tazo iced lemongrass green tea today. It has caffeine in it, thank goodness. An invigorating blend of fine green tea and sprightly herbs. Spearmint leaves and lemon verbena engage in a lively round of croquet in the lemongrass. Croquet was my favorite outdoor childhood game because apparently I've always been an old lady. So, for today's tea, I have a story for you. We are going to go back into the past around 2006. I have in the past and totally would again in the future because it is incredibly fun. Worked on movie sets, TV sets, commercial sets, sort of that as a background actor. When I was a little kid, I kind of just assumed that all the people in the background of a movie were kind of just randomly there as they were filming it. But that's not the case. They hire a bunch of people and their jobs are just to fill up space in the background, look like a crowd or look like other people in an office building. So yeah, I have done background acting in the past. It's a super fun job. It's a good little gig. You make a decent chunk of change, maybe like $150 a day, sort of thing like that. And you're there for a long time. You're there for like 12 hours, but the amount of time that you actually spent doing the work versus the amount of time. Now when you go, they let you have your phone, you can bring books, you can bring coloring books, you can bring homework, you can bring music, you can bring anything you want to as long as you keep it like music and earbuds and stuff like that, have your phone on silent. As long as you're not being disruptive to the set around you, if you aren't actively working, you can do whatever you want to. It's a great experience. You get to meet new people, you make friends, it's just, you get to say you worked on a TV show or a movie or something like that. That's kind of cool to be able to say. And yeah, it's a lot of fun. So the first time I ever did it, we heard an ad on the radio looking for extras for a movie, a Paramount film. And we were like, oh, let's go sign up. Now, I was 14 at the time when I did this, so my mom did have to go with me. I was a minor, I was working, so a parent has to be with you. They went ahead and signed her up as an extra as well, because, you know, she might as well get paid if she is sitting around with me all day. Now, not all places will do that. Sometimes your parent just has to come and sit around with you all day, and that's just what they have to do. No pay, no nothing. But like I said, I was 14 and I actually missed the first 2 days of my freshman year of high school to do this. My mom called the principal and asked what she would have to do. She needed to like write a note or anything, and the principal said that until I attend my first day at that school, I am not technically a registered student. So it didn't count against me at all. So that was awesome. And I totally slacked off that summer and didn't do any of my reading. Like, I didn't even open the book that I was supposed to be reading. We were supposed to read Fahrenheit 451. Those 2 days that I worked on set, every minute of downtime was spent with me reading that book until I finished it, and then I got to kind of like chit chat with other people and talk to other people. But most of the time I had my face in a book trying to read it before I had to go to my first day of school. So the movie I worked on is called Stop Loss. I've got it here. We own a copy. Obviously, why wouldn't we? I worked on it. I'm not in it. Didn't make it in it, but that's really okay. I've not made it in anything that I've done. My arm was in like a Grand Marnier commercial once, But it's such a fun experience, and I make a lot of friends, so I really don't care that I'm not in it. Stop Loss. It was more of like a political, artsy film. It didn't hit major theaters. We saw it in the Angelica Theater in Dallas, which is an art theater, like more independent sort of films go into that theater. It had Ryan Phillippe in it, Abby Cornish, Channing Tatum, and Joseph Gordon-Levitt. It says, a defining movie about a new generation of heroes. Ryan Phillippe leads an all-star cast in Stop Loss, the inspirational film about family, friends, loyalty, and camaraderie. After completing his tour of duty, Brandon King, Phillippe, faces an unexpected new challenge that will put him at odds with former soldiers and test the bonds with his old friends. Featuring rising stars Channing Tatum, Abby Cornish, and Joseph Gordon-Levitt, Stop Loss is the must-own DVD that critics are hailing a new generation-defining film. So Channing Tatum, I don't know who Abby Cornish is, but Channing Tatum and Joseph Gordon-Levitt were rising stars at this time. I didn't know who was going to be on the movie set. In middle school, so like 2004-5-ish, I found this movie called Igby Goes Down, and it had Ryan Phillippe in it, and I, for some reason, was obsessed with the movie. It was also a more like indie film, so not a big like blockbuster hit. Speaking of which, this DVD case has a Blockbuster sticker on it, so woof! Okay. But yeah, so Igby Goes Down was not a blockbuster hit, but I somehow found it, and I loved it, and it had Ryan Phillippe in it, and I just fell in love with him as an actor. I thought he was really good. I have this weird thing. If I watch somebody talk often enough, I can like recognize how their lips move when they speak. So if somebody is far enough off in the distance that I can't really discern their facial features and figure out who it is, if I can see their lips moving, I can usually figure out who it is. It sounds really weird, especially the fact that it makes me sound like I just stare at your lips while you're talking all the time. This dude's off in the distance, and I can tell he's one of like the main actors. He's talking to one of the directors, and I'm like, he kind of looks familiar, but I can't place it. Like and as he's talking more and more and more, I'm watching his lips move, and I was like, oh my gosh, Mom, that's Ryan Phillippe. And I was so just pumped. I was just like, what? I did eventually find out that Channing Tatum was working on it, and that was exciting. He wasn't like as much of like a big dreamboat as he is now, but he was definitely getting up there. So I knew who he was, and I, was pretty excited about that, but not as much as pretty much every other 14, 15, 16-year-old girl there, because I don't know, I just wasn't like, oh yeah, hot dudes. I wasn't at that point yet, I guess. I don't know. So I wasn't like, oh, I need Channing Tatum's autograph, which pretty much every female did. I kind of like stood in the background when filming was done, and he was taking pictures with people and giving autographs. He's a really nice dude, and he was pretty much, I think, gonna just keep taking pictures with people and give autographs until the crowd dispersed. But his like I don't know, team of people that are like, yo, you have a schedule to keep, or hey, this is getting kind of sketch, we're like, hey, we need to go. So that's really the only reason I see that he left. But I was willing to get his autograph and like a picture and stuff like that, but I was really nervous. My confidence plummeted. In elementary school, I was like the queen of the playground, and then at some point, I'm around 5th grade actually, my confidence was just like poof. So I was just kind of like standing in the back, like super awkward. So I never got to meet him because I have no self-confidence. When I was a kid, I was a kid at 14, but when I was a younger kid, I also was obsessed with Third Rock from the Sun. Like, I loved that show. But I loved it for John Lithgow. I don't know why, but I have always loved that man. I just loved, he was hilarious to me, and I loved his acting, and I loved his voice. I just loved John Lithgow, so I was obsessed with that show. So when I heard that Joseph Gordon-Levitt was on the set, I was just like, oh, I don't really know who that is. Yeah, I'm out of touch my whole life pretty much. So the way that things go is like they film the scenes and they kind of say like, oh, we need this many people, or we need all of you to come for this scene or whatever. So the first scene we filmed was the soldiers coming home from a parade. The soldiers are coming down in buses, and like I said, I'm incredibly shy. So my mom eventually convinced me to do a little tumbling pass across the road before the buses come. Like I used to be a gymnast. So the second scene we shot was like the speech, like all the soldiers line up, like all the higher ups and the chaplains and all of that stuff give their, you know, talks and like, oh, it was a good deployment, blah, 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 blah. So then the very last scene we shot was like, the parade is done, the speeches are done, and now you're reuniting with your families. So it's just like a bunch of walking around, crowd movement, go, go, go. And there were a lot of cameras, and it was like very obvious that there were a lot of cameras and they could possibly be on you, and it made me extremely nervous because there's these huge cameras, and some of them are on like these like tracks so they can easily slide, and they like go down, and it was intimidating, super intimidating. So I'm like hiding in the back, and my mother is far more timid than I've ever been in my life. My mom does not like being in front of a camera, like at all. Never has, not as a teenager, not as a child, not as an adult. Never, ever, does not like being taken pictures of. No, doesn't like it. So, I'm in the back, and I'm kind of huddling, and she's trying to encourage me. So despite the fact that my mom is very timid and like keeps to herself, her entire life she has tried to encourage me to like go out, meet people, have fun, be a crazy person. I love my mother. So she's like, go Shelby, go, go, go. And I'm just like, no, I don't wanna. And so eventually she's like, fine, I will go out with you. So my poor mother, who does not want her image taken, especially not in a platform that could be seen by thousands of people like a movie, steps out into this crowd with me so that I will get my butt out there and actually do something. So we're kind of meandering through the crowd, and suddenly my mom realizes that there's a camera facing her, and it's coming closer. It's headed at her. And she was just like a deer in the headlights staring at this camera. Like the pure amount of like fear and terror in my mother's eyes looking at this camera. You would think she was looking at something that was going to... No, actually, she looked like the people on Bird Box when they see the monster. That was the look on my mother's face watching this camera come at her. Instead of just like stepping completely to the side or just stopping and waiting for it to pass by her, she just is backing up almost with it. I swear the camera was like following her, backing up. Like if she did this, the camera did that. If she like, cause she wasn't totally moving, she was just kind of slightly swerving, and it was like it was headed right at her. It seemed like it was. I'm 14. My mother embarrasses me at this stage of life. So I'm like, Mom, what are you doing? This poor woman just stepped out in a crowd that she didn't want to be in to help me out, and I'm just like, Mom, what are you doing? But she's just, oh God, she looks so terrified, and she's backing up, and she's backing up, and she's backing up, and finally, bam, she runs in to what I can obviously tell is one of the main actors, and it was Joseph Gordon-Levitt. So my mom runs in, like, almost knocks on his ass, Joseph Gordon-Levitt. Now again, because I'm completely out of the loop and can't realize this man from the little boy that I had watched in Third Rock, I can't tell who she's run into. I just know that it's like one of the main actors, and I'm petrified. I am petrified. So Joseph Gordon-Levitt's a short dude, so I'm pretty sure he was looking up at his spouse, girlfriend or spouse. So he's, you know, standing here and she's standing here and he's like looking up at her and they're talking. And they're in like an in-depth conversation. They're chit-chatting and just all of a sudden this little woman just like bam almost knocks him on his ass. And I mean, like, he kind of like did that and like stepped and braced himself from falling. And I was just like, and I don't even have to close my eyes to see the look on his face that he gave to my mother. Now, the point of this storytelling is not for me to say that Joseph Gordon-Levitt is secretly an asshole. That is not what I'm saying. I don't think he's an asshole at all. The man can sing, which is just immediately like 150 points right there. The look on his face was kind of just like if you were having a really bad day at work and it was just like one more thing. Just one more thing to just like, but it wasn't even that mad. I don't know how to explain it. It was actually, I think it was just like, what the shit? And like shock and like what is happening? And oh, maybe a little bit of like, oh my god, these freaking extras, Jesus, I don't know. Again, I'm not saying he's an asshole whatsoever. I don't think he is at all. But like what look would be on your face if a 4'9.5" woman almost knocked you on your ass? Like, he probably doesn't even remember this. He's done so much in his life that like this is like one of those files that just like gets automatically deleted because it's just not important enough. But I certainly remember it, and I'm gonna remember it for the rest of my life. So my poor mother has like a nervous breakdown at this point. A camera has come at her, she has run into a main actor, and she's just like, I'm sorry, Shelby, I have to step aside, I'm just gonna stand under here, just stay out there, have fun, do your thing, but I can't, I just can't, Shelby, I just can't. And I'm like, okay, Mom, okay, just, it's fine, I'm so sorry I caused this. Oh. So she steps aside, and they have to like they called cut and everything. So my mom knows it's her fault, because like, she rams into him, that's where the camera was headed, and then they call cut. So my mom is embarrassed. She's just, I'm sorry, Mom. I'm sorry. This is my fault. Yeah, they had to like reset the scene, do it all over, which was probably another thing behind the obvious frustration in his face of being like, I mean, what if that was like the one? That was like, he was feeling good about that scene. Like he was delivering those lines like, oh, he had it. He was in the mood. He was there. This was going to be it. And then she just plows him over. Oh. Wow. Good memories, guys. Good memories. That is today's tea, guys. I hope you enjoyed my story. If you liked this story, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you want to. Ring the bell if you want to make sure you don't miss a Tea Tuesday. And you can follow me on Instagram at It's Me Shelby Lee, on Twitter at It's Me Shelby Lee, on Snapchat at Shelby Lee CM. And for behind the scenes looks into my videos and just other aspects of my life, go to my blog, itsmeshelbylee.com. Have a great day. I love you. You're fabulous. I'm gonna go watch this movie now because I haven't seen it in a while. Have a great day, guys. I love you. Also, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, I'm sorry my mother ran into you.
Hello.